Oh, there you are, YouTube. Doodloo 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 doo. Subscribe if you're willing, no pressure. So I just finished those last two episodes of Stranger Things Season 4, Volume 2. So yeah, it was just those two episodes, but they were very long episodes. They were like almost feature length. I think the second one definitely was the first one? I don't know, it was like an hour and something. But I think that second one I feel like you could have split it, but and there was a moment where I was like, this would have made a nice split. But then beyond that moment, it was like, yeah, maybe if that was the split, the second half or whatever wouldn't feel right for a complete episode. So I guess I get why it was one full cohesive thing, even though I did find a spot that you could have sliced through, maybe just kind of like that. But anyway, I thought the first of the two episodes, the first one, I just didn't think was really, I don't know. I wasn't doing much for me, I guess. I don't know what's a better way to say that. It just wasn't grabbing my attention so much. I was just kind of like, this was not as epic as I was expecting or something like that. I don't know, my feelings just weren't like, yes. But when we got to the second episode of the last two, the final episode of season 4, volume 2, it was like full on awesome, a lot of great stuff, a lot of great things with the characters happening, major changes happening in the story, very emotional parts, action-packed parts. I mean, like, should I get into spoilers? I guess. I'm sure everybody's already seen it. I'm late to the game. But, like, Master of Puppets, that was epic. That was great. That was fantastic. And then, when he was playing Master of Puppets and then he uh, as those specific events there unfold, he and Dustin are, running from those bats and trying to escape, and then just survive those bats, and then what he ends up doing, fighting and not running, and has that spoilers again has that end. It was very emotional. You just feel for Dustin so much. And then later on when Dustin talks to his uncle, and oh gosh, that was a lot, man. And then Lucas and Max, everything that was going on there, incredibly emotional as well. Just felt so much for Lucas. It was just, I don't know, there was a lot going on where they had those emotional beats. The Russia stuff, I'm like changing courses, I guess, but the Russia stuff, I wasn't that interested in during the whole season, but it got pretty interesting. There was some great action. It was like Hopper basically just turned into He-Man, and that was awesome. Like watching him take down the Demogorgon and everything to weaken Vecna, that was very cool. We had some great stuff with 11, uh, and what's the stoner guy's name? He was great. I loved him, and knowing everything about the pizza chain he works for. That was so good. Loved that. But yeah, 11 had some great moments as well. I thought all that was good. That was good. Um, yeah. And then the very end, like the reunion stuff, that was all very cinematic. Well, I guess I don't know. Should I like come up with complaints? Like some of the CGI is. I'm not saying it's bad. It's not. I don't even think it's bad. I think it's good CGI for the most part. Like it's not distracting in a way that where it's like, ooh, you should have worked harder on the CGI. It's just that there is a lot of CGI, because I feel like when we were first given Stranger Things, what did we like about it? We liked its feel, its essence, its aura of the 80s, you know, very practical and things like that. And I know we had CGI in the first season, but it feels like we've distanced ourselves from that vibe a little bit more because it's just gotten bigger and bigger, and it's falling, I think, a little bit more into what we see today. It's not um, like like the authenticity of the 80s isn't as strong, I feel like, I guess, with this season. But the third season, it was even less authentic, I think. Like, everything with the mall was almost cranked to 11. Like, it was like giving you a version of the 80s where everybody sort of had the exact same style, and it was like, that's not how things work. There are different versions of the 80s that happen. So, and I learned that from, I was listening to Mike Myers talk about the 60s, and the 60s that you would see in regards to like the hippie movement and everything. But there was also like a whole nother 1960s, and that was kind of the one that he grew up with his parents. And it just doesn't get any airtime. Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, it was kind of, that's kind of how I felt like season 3 was a little bit. But anyway, I'm off track. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the main thing, is it's feeling a little less authentic in the 80s-ness. Like the first season, it was very strong with the authenticity. And maybe it's still the same, and I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know, nostalgic for the nostalgia of the first one or something, if that makes sense, of the first season. I don't know. Do you think that? Does it seem like things have changed a bit? Like it just doesn't have sort of the 80s realism, the authenticity anymore? Maybe it does. I don't know. But yeah, I like Vecna. Still think he's a great villain. A lot. He kind of had some like Freddy Krueger-ness to him, some Michael Myers-ness to him. I've always thought he has some like Hellraiser feel, and what else? Maybe a little um, Candyman even. Yeah, I think he's a great villain, and I like where he came from. My question is, who made the Upside Down? Was it 11? Like, did she make that, or did it already exist? That's what I want to know. Anyway, just praise. I'm having a good. I'm not. It wasn't just praise, but I don't know. This last episode was really good, and I liked it quite a bit. So that's where I'm at. And what did you think of it? Did you like it? If you have some videos, I'll probably try and watch those in the next couple days. Those that I am friends with here on YouTube. Yeah, I'm excited to hear. And if you want to talk about it in the comments, let's do it. Let's talk about those last 2 episodes. And perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.